Hey everyone, welcome back to another deep dive into the awesome world of tech. It's amazing how quickly things change in this industry.
Yeah.
You know me, I love keeping up. And thankfully our friends over at TechNews 10X do all the hard work of gathering the best stuff. We're talking February 17th and 18th, 2025. A whirlwind of news from AI to gaming, hardware, and even some seriously weird stuff. I'm excited to break it all down with you today. And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep those deep dives coming.
It's a packed couple of days for sure.
Okay, let's unpack this. First up, AI is making some serious waves. HP is buying assets from Humane AI, which probably means that AI pin they were working on is going the way of the dodo. You remember that thing, right?
Yeah.
All the hype, then poof.
Well, what's interesting here is that this move could signal a broader shift in the wearable AI landscape. Is the pin format just not practical? Are we moving towards something totally different, like augmented reality glasses, perhaps? It really raises questions about the future direction of this technology, wouldn't you say?
Totally. And speaking of AI, get this. Deepfakes are getting so good, almost no one can spot them anymore. A recent test showed that only TWO out of 2,000 people could identify them perfectly. It's kind of freaky, right? What do you make of that?
It's definitely unsettling. If we
Yeah.
can't tell what's real anymore, how can we trust anything we see online? This has huge implications for misinformation and manipulation. It's like, how do we protect ourselves when seeing is no longer believing?
It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie, but not the fun kind. On a lighter note, Intel released an open-source AI that judges politeness in text. I don't know about you, but that strikes me as both helpful and kind of creepy. What do you think?
The potential applications are fascinating, like helping people communicate more effectively online or maybe flagging potentially harmful content. But yeah, there's a definite creep factor. Imagine an AI telling you to be more polite. Could this be used to censor or control online conversations? It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for sure.
Oh.
Now let's switch gears and level up gamers. Get ready for this. Fortnite is adding Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat to their roster next season. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, so this is pretty exciting news for me. What do you think? Could this finally be the ultimate fighting game crossover?
I think it's a smart move on Fortnite's part. It taps into that nostalgia factor for older gamers like yourself and introduces classic characters to a whole new generation. It'll be interesting to see how they integrate Sub-Zero's moveset into the Fortnite world.
Totally. And it seems Bethesda is taking fan involvement to a whole new level. They're auctioning off the chance to become an NPC in Elder Scrolls 6. Bids are already over $10,000. Can you believe that? I mean, I'm all for supporting game development, but that's some serious dedication.
It's definitely a unique way to engage fans and generate buzz. I wonder if we'll see more of this in the future. Imagine being immortalized in your favorite game.
That would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? Speaking of awesome, Nintendo is discontinuing their Gold Point rewards program just a week before a rumored Switch 2. Direct coincidence? I think not. What do you think they've got up their sleeve?
It's certainly suspicious timing, isn't it? Dropping a rewards program right before a potential new console announcement. They could be paving the way for a new loyalty program tied to the Switch 2, perhaps.
Ooh, that's a good theory. Okay, now for some eye-popping news. Literally, a little-known French startup just launched the cheapest true 5K monitor on the market. I'm talking a fraction of the price of the big brands. Is it too good to be true? What do you think?
Well, 5K monitors have typically been a luxury item with a pretty hefty price tag. This new offering could be a game changer. If it delivers on its promises, it could make 5K technology accessible to a much wider audience. It'll be interesting to see how the established players respond.
I know, right? The competition is heating up. And for all you audiophiles out there, TCAC just dropped a super compact hi-fi amplifier. It's sleek, it's powerful, and it's designed to drive even the most demanding audio systems. I'm kind of drooling over here.
It's certainly a tempting piece of kit for those who demand the best audio quality. TIAC has a long history of producing high-end audio equipment, so I'd expect this amplifier to live up to the reputation.
Totally. But not all hardware news is good news, unfortunately. A newly discovered Xerox printer vulnerability could give hackers a backdoor into your systems. Yikes. What are your thoughts on this one? Does this make you want to ditch your printer altogether?
It's a reminder that even seemingly harmless devices can be vulnerable to cyber attacks. The key is to stay vigilant about updating your devices and following best security practices. Don't ignore those security updates, folks.
Solid advice. And on that note, we've got some serious cybersecurity concerns brewing. It seems the U.S. military and defense contractors were hit with Infostealer malware. Not exactly reassuring, is it? I mean, if they can get hacked, who's safe? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, given the nature of the targets, this is a potentially significant breach. Infostealer malware is designed to steal sensitive data, which could have serious implications for national security. It's a stark reminder that no one is immune to cyber attacks.
Absolutely. And to make matters worse, open SSH vulnerabilities are posing a major threat to businesses, and there's a new Golang malware spreading through Telegram. It feels like a digital minefield out there. What can people do to protect themselves?
Staying informed is key. Make sure you're using strong, unique passwords for all your accounts and enable two-factor authentication whenever possible. Be cautious about clicking on links or opening attachments from unknown sources, and of course, keep your software updated with the latest security patches. Basic digital hygiene goes a long way.
Couldn't agree more. And before we move on to the big tech buzz, I want to remind you lovely people to show some love by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your fellow tech enthusiasts. We really appreciate your support. Okay, now back to the news. Apple is celebrating the 2025 MLS season in style with custom logos for every team. Some of them are seriously cool. Have you seen them?
I have, and I think it's a brilliant marketing move. It taps into local pride and fandom generating buzz for both Apple and the MLS.
It's a win-win for sure. Meanwhile, Google Chat is adding new features to lure users away from Microsoft Teams. It's like a tech tug-of-war, and I'm here for it. What do you think? Is this a sign of Google finally stepping up their game?
It definitely shows they're taking the competition with Microsoft seriously. The battle for dominance in the workplace collaboration space is heating up, and that's good news for users like you and me. More competition usually leads to better products.
That's a great point. And Meta is making some serious moves in the connectivity space. They've just announced a massive new 50,000 kilometer subsea cable project. Can you imagine the amount of data that thing will be able to handle? It's mind-blowing.
It's a huge investment in infrastructure that could significantly enhance internet speeds and reliability worldwide. It's all about connecting the world one cable at a time.
Speaking of connecting the world, I think it's time to jump into the wild world of tech, where things can get a little strange to say the least. Are you ready for this? Robot abuse is on the rise. I kid you not.
It's a disturbing trend that highlights the complex relationship we have with technology. As robots become more integrated into our lives, we need to consider the ethical implications of our interactions with them.
I mean, it's a machine, right? But at what point do we start blurring the lines? It's kind of a mind bender, isn't it? What do you think, viewers? Let us know in the comments. Speaking of things that make you think, fans of the Reacher series, listen up. Author Lee Child hinted at more seasons on Prime Video and even a possible return to the big screen. More Reacher. I'm in. What about you?
It seems the demand for Jack Reacher is insatiable. It'll be interesting to see if they can recapture the magic of the books and the first season on Prime Video. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And finally, we have a real head-scratcher. A Redditor spotted an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D for a mind-blowing $99. Pricing error of the deal of the century. I mean, come on. That's got to be a mistake.
It almost certainly is. That's a ridiculously low price for a CPU of that caliber. Someone might have gotten incredibly lucky, or maybe it's a clever marketing ploy.
If it's real, someone needs to buy, like, right now.
It's amazing what people can find online these days. Speaking of amazing finds, get ready for this. Camino is making waves with their workstation PCs that pack a whopping 8 NVIDIA RTX 5090 GPUs, all for under $60,000.
8 GPUs in one machine. That's insane. What would you even do with that much processing power? Render the entire universe in 8K.
It's definitely a beast of a machine aimed at professionals who need serious horsepower for tasks like AI development, 3D rendering, and scientific simulations. It's incredible to see how rapidly technology is advancing, making what was once cutting edge suddenly more accessible.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. But it's real. And while we're on the topic of things that seem unreal, Seagate just unveiled an SSD that looks like a regular old thumb drive. Could this be the end of traditional flash drives as we know them? I mean, who needs bulky drives when you can have all that storage in something so small?
It's definitely a possibility. As SSD technology becomes more compact and affordable, it makes sense to integrate it into familiar form factors. This could be a game changer for portable storage.
I'm all for more storage in a smaller package. Now let's talk about a company that's no stranger to pushing boundaries. OpenAI. They've updated their 187-page rulebook for ChatGPT, allowing it to engage with more controversial topics. What could possibly go wrong, right?
It's a bold move that raises important questions about the role of AI in navigating sensitive and potentially divisive issues. It'll be fascinating to see how this plays out and if they can strike a balance between free speech and responsible AI use.
It's like opening Pandora's box. But for AI, let's hope they can keep it under control. On a slightly less controversial note, Amazon just killed off a useful Kindle USB feature, limiting ebook downloads and backups.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that, Amazon? Not cool.
It's a puzzling mood, especially for those who rely on USB for managing their ebooks. Hopefully they'll reconsider based on user feedback. It's important for companies to listen to their customers.
Right, absolutely. Speaking of things that aren't cool, Windows 11 users are reporting some serious issues with a new patch for 24H2. File Explorer is acting up, and some users are even claiming it bricked their PCs. It's a nightmare. What's your take on this?
It's a reminder that software updates can sometimes introduce unexpected problems. It's always a good idea to back up your data before installing updates, just in case. Better safe than sorry.
Words to live by in the digital age. And in other news, the WordPress Foundation's bid for greater trademark control has been halted, adding to CEO Matt Mullenweg's legal woes. What's going on in the WordPress world? It seems like things are getting a bit messy over there.
It's a setback for the foundation and raises questions about the future direction of the WordPress platform. It will be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Drama in the tech world, who would have thought? Now get ready to groan, folks. Microsoft is shoehorning new PC Game Pass recommendations into Windows 11. More ads, really.
It's a move that's bound to annoy some users who value a clean and uncluttered user interface. I know I'm not a fan of intrusive ads.
Me neither. It's like they're trying to turn our desktops into billboards. And speaking of things that are annoying, Apple Maps might soon adopt one of Google Maps' worst features. Say, it ain't so Apple. What do you think this means for the future of navigation apps? Are they all destined to become cluttered messes?
It's a reminder that even the most popular apps and services aren't immune to adopting features that users may not appreciate. Sometimes it feels like they're not even listening to us. But hey, at least we have choices, right?
True that. But let's end on a positive note, shall we? Nosferatu is getting a streaming release on Peacock, including an extended cut. This classic horror film is a must-see for any movie buff. I love a good classic horror flick.
It's a great opportunity for fans to rediscover this cinematic masterpiece and for new audiences to experience its chilling atmosphere.
All right, we're back. And for this final stretch of our TechViews 10X deep dive, buckle up because we've got some juicy stories to cover. First up, it seems Russian cyber attackers have set their sights on Microsoft Teams with a new phishing campaign. You've got to be kidding me.
Unfortunately not. This highlights the ongoing threat of cyber attacks, particularly those targeting popular communication platforms. It's a reminder to be extra cautious about clicking on links or opening attachments, even if they appear to be from a trusted source.
Yeah, it's like you can't trust anything these days.
Yep.
Now this one's interesting. ARM, the chip-making giant, is reportedly looking to build its own CPU server for hyperscalers, which probably won't make AMD very happy. Can you explain what hyperscalers are? I'm drawing a blank here.
Sure, hyperscalers are companies like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft that operate massive data centers. They need incredibly powerful servers to handle all that data and traffic. If ARM enters this market, it could shake things up and intensify competition with established players like AMD. It's a bold move for sure.
Competition is always good for consumers, right? Hopefully it'll lead to better and more affordable servers. And speaking of competition, Intel's rumored Celestial GPUs could finally give NVIDIA and AMD a run for their money. Could this be the start of a new era in graphics processing? What do you think?
It's definitely possible. Intel has been making strides in the GPU market, and the Celestial chips could be their most ambitious offering yet. If they can deliver on performance and price, it could change the game for PC gamers and content creators. It's an exciting time to be a tech enthusiast.
I'm all for more competition in the GPU market. Bring it on, Intel. But let's not forget about Android users. It seems Android's emergency SOS feature caused a bit of a privacy nightmare for one Pixel owner. What happened there?
Well, the feature accidentally shared the user's location and personal information with emergency contacts, even though the user hadn't intended to do so. It highlights the importance of carefully reviewing and understanding the privacy settings of our devices, especially features that share sensitive information. Sometimes those features are turned on by default, so you really have to dig into the settings to make sure you're comfortable with what's being shared.
It's like our devices are watching us, but not always in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay, switching gears again. Meta is back at it with another ambitious project, a 50,000-kilometer subsea cable that's set to boost global internet connectivity. I mean, that's longer than the circumference of the Earth. What's the point of all that cable?
It's all about meeting the growing demand for fast and reliable internet access worldwide. This cable will connect continents and enable faster data transfer, which is essential for everything from streaming video to conducting business online. It's a huge undertaking, but the benefits are potentially enormous.
It's like the internet is becoming the nervous system of the planet.
Yeah.
and this cable is a major artery. But not all news is good news, unfortunately. Google TV just lost some of its free streaming channels, leaving users with fewer options. What's the deal with that? It feels like we're constantly losing access to content.
It's a reminder that the streaming landscape is constantly evolving, with content libraries and availability subject to change. It can be frustrating for users who rely on those free channels, but it's the nature of the beast in the streaming world.
I guess we can't have it all.
Okay.
But hey, at least we still have plenty of other options, right?
Yeah.
On a brighter note, Honor just launched their Magic 7 RSR phone with a ridiculous amount of RAM, more than the iPhone 16 Pro Max and Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra combined. Can you even imagine what you'd do with all that RAM? Would it even make a difference?
It's definitely a spec monster aimed at users who demand the absolute best performance. That much RAM would allow for incredibly smooth multitasking and lightning-fast app loading. It's pushing the boundaries of what's possible in a smartphone.
It's like having a supercomputer in your pocket. But even supercomputers can have their flaws. It seems Samsung might have a charging issue with their Galaxy S25 Ultra and S25 Plus. What's the story there?
There have been reports of these phones experiencing slower charging speeds than expected. It's not a widespread issue, but it's something Samsung is likely investigating. Hopefully they'll be able to resolve it quickly.
Samsung's got a pretty good track record, so I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Meh.
And while we're on the topic of Samsung, rumors are swirling about improved battery life for their upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Z Flip 7. Could this be the breakthrough foldable phone fans have been waiting for? I mean, battery life has always been a sticking point for foldable phones, right?
Absolutely. If Samsung can deliver significantly improved battery life, it would be a major selling point for their new foldable devices. It could be the push that finally makes foldable phones mainstream.
Fingers crossed. Now for some news that's sure to please NVIDIA fans. RTX 5090 stock levels are rumored to be surging in the coming weeks, finally giving gamers a chance to get their hands on this beast of a GPU. It's been a long wait, but it seems the supply chain issues are finally easing up.
It's good news for anyone who's been struggling to find this highly sought-after graphics card. The increased availability should also help to bring prices down, which is always a win for consumers.
That's great news. But not everyone is celebrating. The head of a top Apple Mac Linux distro just resigned, citing burnout and criticizing Linus Torvalds' leadership style. It's a reminder that even in the tech world, things aren't always rosy. What are your thoughts on this?
It highlights the importance of fostering positive and supportive work environments even in the fast-paced world of technology. Burnout is a real issue, and it's important for leaders to prioritize the well-being of their teams. Hopefully, this will spark a conversation about healthy work practices in the open-source community.
Absolutely. We need to take care of each other, especially in a field that can be so demanding. And for our final story, we've got some good news for cybersecurity folks. ExpressVPN just upgraded their lightweight protocol, aiming to create the VPN protocol of the future. It's great to see innovation in the VPN space, especially with online privacy and security becoming more important than ever.
I agree. A secure and reliable VPN is essential for anyone who wants to protect their online activity and data. It'll be interesting to see how ExpressVPN's lightweight protocol performs in real-world testing.
And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our TechViews 10X deep dive. We covered everything from AI and gaming to hardware and cybersecurity and even a little bit of robot abuse and a whole lot of cable for good measure. It was quite a ride. What stood out to you the most? Let us know in the comments.
It was a whirlwind of information, but that's what makes it so fun. There's always something new and exciting happening in the tech world.
Absolutely. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the latest tech news. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And if you have any thoughts or questions about the stories we covered, let us know in the comments. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the amazing world of technology.